Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.
Welcome to another amazing episode of Boss Talks. And if this is your first time here, welcome. And, you know, this is a podcast. We are modeling people like Ed Milet and Andy Priscilla. And realistically, there's going to be stuff on this podcast, just like every other one that we do, that's worth thousands and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. And today's guest, Shane, has taken a business from $0 to $6 million. He's a co-founder of Factory Buyers, and he knows a thing or two about business. And the information he's going to give you today and just the discussion he's going to have with me in this interview is going to be worth, like, people spend like 5, 6, 10, tens of thousands of dollars to go to people's events of a weekend to, I've done it, to get this information. And all we're asking is that you share it around. You know, share it around. It's going to get benefit to us because more people will listen to the podcast. It's going to get Shane's profile out there, getting more known. We were just talking off camera before about attention.
Getting more attention.
Yeah. And look, you'll be someone's hero because something we were speaking about before as well off camera, which I want to bring up, is, where do you get your advice from? Are you getting it from, like, your parents or someone who hasn't even run a business or is not successful in the area that you want to be successful in? Well, listen, if you're on this podcast, my guess is that you want more money. You want more success. You want more health in your life. So share this out to someone because Shane knows what he's doing. And, mate, Shane, welcome.
Thank you very much, mate, and thanks for having me. And anyone that's tuning in, watching, I appreciate you tuning in and watching and listening to us. And hopefully we can spit some fire today and offer some value. You know, it might be only one or two things that you pick up, but, you know, over my course of probably 10 years of doing personal development in business and just in life and in fulfillment in general, it's an accumulation of, those one or two things in everything I watch, every event that I go to, that's turned me into who I am today and has brought me the success that I have today. So always try and get 1, 2 things that really resonates with you, and hopefully we can absolutely deliver some absolute bombs for you today.
Mate, that's so true. And look, if you hear something that really jumps out at you today, I hope you're taking notes. You can listen to this multiple times. Don't be taking notes if you're driving. But outside of that, maybe you should pull over right now so you can get your notebook out.
That's a required skill, actually.
But if there's 1 or 2 things that have jumped out, or even one that jumps out, then seriously, put it in your calendar.
Yep.
That's the first tip. Put it in your calendar now and apply it. Don't wait because, in 2 weeks' time, you won't even remember what was said on this podcast. So if Shane or I say something that really hits home, write it down, put it in your calendar and apply it straight away. That's tip 1.
And a huge thing with that too is how you're going to use it. So what I do now, at the start of my personal development journey, when I'm learning these things, I'm watching, DVDs, videos, listening to audio books, reading books. What I found is I was sort of just consuming knowledge for the sake of consuming knowledge. So I didn't apply the stuff I learned early in life very well. So one thing I try and do now, one thing I don't try and do, one thing I do is everything that I learn, every course that I do, I pick out 1, 2, 3 things because I think any more than that it's just too hard to take home. And I write down, okay, what did I really get out of this? What does it mean for me? But more importantly, how the fuck am I going to use this? How am I going to apply that? Because that's the most important part.
Yeah, application.
Application of the knowledge. So.
Knowledge isn't power until it's applied.
That's right.
Yeah. Amazing. So, Shane, mate, for anyone that doesn't know who you are, who are you?
Who am I? Just a pretty standard guy. Don't come from a very good education background. I did finish school, but not very well. I failed a few subjects because I was a little shit, to be honest. But I actually had huge aspirations in music when I was a bit younger. So I was a musician. I'd call it a pub drunk. So I wasn't, your typical, smart guy, go to university and, very well educated. I was definitely not the smartest guy in the room. I suppose the only thing I had going for me was big aspirations and anything I did, and I worked very hard. So started out playing music for a while. That's my background. Studied aviation after that. So when I didn't make it in music, I had aspirations to be a pilot. I failed at that. So what I'm trying to get at is I failed a lot for everyone that's listening. But I've learned a lot of lessons through that journey as well. When I went broke trying to study aviation, I got down to about $25 in my bank account. I was forced to really level up and go to a new level within myself and really look and self-reflect and go, what do I really want to do with my life? Is money important to me because I don't have any at the moment? Am I going to live my life like this, or am I going to chase the money dream? And that's where I came up with the business idea with long-term friend Nathan, and we grew that from 0 to 6 million in 12 months. So that's my business story, and that's really who I've become out of that.
Mate, you say that you've failed a lot, and
yep. Still do.
It's true, we all do. But what I'm getting at is, like, if you fail a lot, how do you just keep, like, what goes through your mind to get you to get back up? Because, like, I know a lot of listeners out there are like, they're either got a massive fear of failure,
yep.
or they, they fail and then they go, like, going back and just getting a job sounds pretty good. Going back to safety sounds pretty good. So, yep. Mate, how did you keep getting up? Like, what went through your mind?
I put myself into a desperation situation, I suppose. And I've just learned out of desperation to get out of it and deal with that. So a lot of people do crumble. And Tony Robbins talks about this a lot. There's only 2 reasons why people will take action and change, and that's inspiration or desperation. And I didn't know what I was doing most of my life, but what I would do is get into a desperation phase in my life. And then I'd have to look at the bigger picture and go, how many shots do I get at this at life? I've failed here, but this isn't the end. I'm young. I've got, I've heard stories of people get successful at 60. Who's the KFC man, the Colonel?
Yeah.
So, I've got plenty of time. So, it's tough and it's mentally fatiguing and it's not nice to go through these failures, but I don't spend a lot of time analyzing my failures when they happen. I'm very quick to, figure out, reroute, and then go hard again, get in the motivation stage and just get out of that stage. Chase something different.
See, like, I guess the point that we're trying to make to the listeners here is that I personally don't believe that there's any way to get to the upper levels of success without failure.
100%.
I totally believe that you've got to fail.
Yeah.
And, like, Tony Robbins wasn't always good at what he did. Like, Grant Cardone wasn't always good at what he did. Like, I'm sure Andy Frisella was terrible at selling, his supplements and working in his business. Like we've all got to start somewhere. Like, Tony Robbins has failed his way forward. I bet you he cringes at some of the stuff he used to do.
They still do. And that's an important thing to realize, is just because you see them on a stage and you see their success doesn't mean they're not failing daily. There's probably things in their companies and things they're trying, new products that they're trying to innovate, and they don't work. So failure just becomes a normal part of life, but it's what you do with that failure. So some people just fail for the sake of failing, and they keep failing because they don't learn their lessons. If you learn your lessons from your failure and you learn the feedback from your failures, you'll obviously use that in a more positive way and move forward.
I had a solid one this morning on about patterns.
Yeah.
And like, I was listening to Ed Milet's podcast, and he said that if it's happened to you more than once, it's a habit. It's a pattern.
That's right.
So don't continually get the lesson over and over again, because the universe is funny. It'll keep giving it to you.
That's right.
Till you learn the lesson it's trying to show you, because it's trying to get you to your highest true self and, have the highest success that you possibly can, so you can give more and contribute more. And if you just keep on getting stuck with making the same mistake over and over again because you're frightened of failing.
Yep.
Like, I just think both are shit. So I'm going to choose which shit one I'm going to have.
Yep.
I'm either going to have a hard life when I run out of money in my 60s, 70s, 80s, because I haven't gone and had a go, or I can choose to go through the hard stuff now and live whatever life I want. And
reap the rewards.
Is there a chance that we won't make it?
Of course.
There is, but I tell you, there's no chance of you making it if you don't have a go. And so
100%.
amazing. So you're doing the same challenge as me. Like you're doing a 75 hard challenge. It's an Andy Frisella concoction.
Yeah.
And you know, on the surface, it sounds like it's a weight loss or a health like thing, but we both are discussing it before. It's like really improved our mindset. And like, mate, I know you pretty well. Like, you already had a good mindset. Like, you already had a really good mindset. Like, you don't build a company like you have without having one. And you're saying that it's like taking it to the next level, and it's exactly how I feel. Like,
definitely. Yeah.
Tell me what you found.
One thing I suppose in my life has been discipline in my fitness. That's been a problem for me my whole life because I always, it's not in the importance of, you know, things in my life. It's always been 2 or 3. So it's never been like not important. It's always been there. I've always been exercising, but it's not a daily discipline routine for me. So one thing this challenge has really taught me is that, you know, if it's worth doing once a week, it's worth doing once a day. And 75 Hard has definitely shown me that. If you want to do something, don't half-ass it, do it properly, and just make it part of your daily routine. So I can certainly see the health benefits and the fitness benefits of doing this stuff every day, but also pushing yourself mentally every day as well. I'm finding little things in the business now that would normally take me a while to deal with, and you know, I sort of put to the side and say I'll do that later, just because we've got the 75 Hard challenge going on now. It's sort of, I just got to get this done. I'm actually transferring that into my business now as well, which is really important for success. You know, you can't put off anything in business. If you want to grow your business really quickly, you need to work on speed of the application. So you got an idea that you want to implement. Don't take 6 months, you know, perfecting it and try and work out how you should do it and how it's going to be perfected. Get it done now, as quick as you can.
Now, that's I know multiple successful people have said that, like, and they're different. I don't know if they ever talk behind closed doors or whatever, but I said, what's your secret to success? Because I asked that a lot of successful people, and they said, one word, now.
Yep.
Now. Mm-hmm. So, like, it's funny, Grant Cardone, I was over at his business boot camp, like, nearly 12 months ago exactly, actually. Yep. And they gave him this 10X belt, right?
Yeah.
And, like, presented it to him, and they thought it was pretty cool. And he went, he looked at it and went, that's great. And he went, Sherry, put a landing page up. He literally got him to put a landing page up straight away to sell it. And they said, we don't even know what it cost. Yeah, and he said, I don't care. Just put it on for $200.
Yeah.
And he's like that, but we don't know if you're losing money. He goes, well, neither do I, but just put the landing page up.
Yeah, we can fix it later.
And it was funny because, like she said, she got on the mic and said, I hear this about 5 times a day.
Yeah.
We literally had to put a web designer to have the job of just when Grant comes out and says, put a landing page up. I've had this other idea. We're going to start selling this.
Yeah.
So,
that's exactly what I'm talking about. Speed.
Yeah.
You know, why wait? You know, what's going to change in a week to now? So the hardest part in business is customer acquisition and getting sales quick enough to maintain your business and your cash flow. So why delay selling anything? You know, I coach a lot of people now in business, and they're always trying to get their products, perfecting them. They're waiting for manufacturing to come through, and they don't put their products up till they get there. Why don't you do a pre-sale? Just one little example. And they're like, well, no one's going to buy it. And I said, well, how do you know? You know, if it's up, well, even if it's up and no one buys it, it's better than not being there to buy. You know what I mean? So it's not going to hurt doing that, putting up a pre-sale, see if you can sell it, frees up some cash flow. And it might lead to other business ideas as well. It might lead to other products that then you pre-sell as well, and you could grow your inventory. I
think that comes a lot from people not understanding the fundamentals of cash flow, though.
Yep.
Like I see, like the world, like I helped this business, right, and they were actually a sales company.
Yeah,
they're doing sales. I'm helping other people's sales, and I went in to help them with their sales. So it was pretty meta. It was pretty funny, but they'd spent like 4 months trying to perfect this process. And I went, how many have you sold? And he said, none yet. We haven't finished. I'm like, so you're going to spend you're spending like all this time creating something, not getting paid. And when you take it to market, you don't know if anyone's going to like it. I said, that's the best way to go broke.
Yep.
I said,
100%.
Do you know what's going to be in it?
That's a big one.
Yeah. Do you know what's in it? And he went, yeah. I said, well, go sell that. So you need proof of concept. You don't know if anyone actually wants what you're selling.
That's right. Yeah.
So like they say, Keith Cunningham.
Yeah.
He says only an idiot creates a product and takes it to market. He says, go ask the market what it wants, go home, create it,
Yep.
and take it to market.
Yep.
You know, and like I'm
Makes
not
sense.
perfect, but you know, like when I'm doing coaching, a coaching product, I'm going to go to my target market and I survey them.
Yep.
And say, what do you want? What would you pay for?
Yeah.
What do you need to know? Because like,
What products do you need?
yeah, because
Yeah.
I think it's awesome doesn't mean shit. And
Yep.
you know, like, well, you might as well get paid to create your product.
Yep.
If you sold it already, well, you know, suspend, if you got 6 weeks leading,
Yep.
sell it for 5 weeks and then create the content in the last week. Like, you know your stuff. So don't wait. Anyway, that's a little rant, but
Yep.
like, you want to get paid now.
That's
So,
exactly right.
you know, you're not under stress, you know?
Yep. So that's the hardest part, is selling the product. And I spend so much time trying to, tell this, or not tell, but teach my clients this that I work with. And they spend so much time on the product and, you know, the sales process and all this sort of stuff. The hardest part is, first of all, getting the customers that are interested in the product and then selling it to them. So you should be doing that first, not worrying so much about the product and the aftermath of that. So
This is funny. Like, are people out there buying products that are not the best?
Yeah.
Are they out there spending money with other people
Yep.
that have just had the guts to ask the question?
that's right.
And get on the phone and do it. Like, like I find that a lot of the time that what holds people back is that either they don't have a belief in what they're selling, or which really just comes down to they don't have a belief in themselves. Like,
right.
it's another thing Grant says. He says
Yep.
at the boot camp, he goes, there's only 2 reasons why someone won't buy. It's like they're not the decision maker, or they don't believe it'll work.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, and let's be honest, I can't say this publicly, but you know, I'm going to say it.
Yep.
He goes, what they're really saying is they don't believe in themselves.
Yep.
Because if they believed in themselves, they'd know they could make it work. And if they knew they could make it work, it's a no-brainer.
That's right.
So that really just comes back to whether you're selling it as well. Like, that's if you're not willing to get out there, and really you're hiding behind all this pre-work, so you don't have to get on the friggin' phone. And
That's right.
That's the truth. Like, so just realize that. And something that I learned yesterday of a highly successful salesperson was, they said, look, there's a yes and no already in the field.
Yeah.
You know, I could ask Shane to buy something today. There's already a yes or a no there. He's not going to say no because he hates me. He's going to say no because he doesn't want it.
Yep.
And if he does want it, he's going to say yes, and then it's done. Don't make it any harder than that. And I think a lot of people do.
And wouldn't it be better to figure that out, you know, as quick as possible?
So you can get back to doing the 75 hard.
I want to know as quick as possible if someone wants to buy something off me or not. I don't want to stuff around with it. I don't have time. So that's one thing you find too, when your business gets bigger and bigger and your company gets bigger, you get less time to stuff around with the fluffy stuff. You just got to get to the point. So wouldn't you rather figure out the yes or the no instead of them sitting in your database for, you know, a year, and you know, you're spending time just looking at them every day. Just get them out.
Just get it
Find
done.
out. Yes or no.
Done. Yeah. So mate, like in business, like what would be your number one truth in business? Like, what's true for you?
My number one truth. That's a good question. And you stumped me with that before, and still haven't figured it out.
Haven't figured it out, yeah. Well, what is the truth in business for you? What do you know?
I think you mentioned the work side is yours, and I have to agree. And I don't want to copy yours, but I'll go off on a little bit different direction. So Joel said something about, you know, you have to do the work, and that's his truth. That's just a no-brainer in business. You have to outwork your competition. If you're trying to gain traction on your competition, the only way you're going to do that is get more attention. So I won't call it work, but I'll call it attention, because customer acquisition is the biggest part of business that people underestimate. They always think it's the product, the service, or how well you treat your customers, maybe customer service, that is going to get you across the line. It's not. You could have the best customer service in the world, but if no one knows about you, then you don't have customer service to start with. So attention, you have to outdo your competition with attention. So customer acquisition is something you always need to be working on at any phase of your business. Any phase. McDonald's still work on how can we get attention.
Yeah.
Do you think that ever goes away? No. That is the number one thing in business, and that will be for the rest of time, is how much attention you have. It's not the best burger that sells, it's the best known burger that sells. I say this about McDonald's all the time. They are the shittest burgers in the world. I don't eat McDonald's. I hate it. I can't now anyway with 75 hard. But, you know, it's the worst burger in the world. McDonald's, it's crap. It's shit. But it's the best known. When you're driving along and you're thinking, geez, I'm hungry, there's this crap going on in your subconscious. It's been implanted there by McDonald's to make you think of it. Or you're driving by and you see a big M, and all of a sudden you want a cheeseburger. It's attention. That's all it is.
So it's
Big
like,
business is mass attention in traffic.
it's another thing, borrowing off what Grant says. He says like, if I don't know you, I can't buy from you. And if I don't know you, I can't remember you. And if I can't remember you, when the time comes for me to buy from you, I can't buy from you. He says and that's why he's always hitting like so hard. Like, have you ever tried to unsubscribe from one of his emails? Like, I've got a friend who's up to 38 unsubscribes and he still gets them coming through.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, because he's just there. He's omnipresent, and I'm not saying that's right, wrong, good or bad.
Yeah.
But it's attention, and I tell you, if you think sales training, he's like the McDonald's of sales training. He's going to be in your mind when you realise you need to up your game. So you're going to be looking for the 10X. You're going to be looking for Cardone University. You're going to be looking for that stuff. So, but is he the best sales trainer on the planet? Like he says he is. I don't know if he is. Like. That he's the best known.
I do love his style, but
I love his style.
He wouldn't be the best. You know, there'd be sales trainers out there that are 10 times better than him.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're probably earning $50,000 a year because they don't know how to get attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's the master of getting attention.
He is. Yeah. So, look, and the stuff he says, like the thing that sticks in my mind the most that he said, and it's like if I had a billboard, that everyone could see, honestly, it is the healing is in the doing.
Yep.
It's not in the thinking. It's just he says that. He goes, Think and Grow Rich is a great book because it says think, but it's left the part out where it's the doing.
Yep.
You know, and he says you don't need to go get therapy. You need to get it on the battlefield.
Yep.
Because that's where the healing's done. He says, and you will get well, but you won't get well in a chair. You're going to get well on the battlefield.
That's right. Yeah.
And the healing is in the
perfect.
doing. And that, like, I listen to that nearly every day.
Yeah.
Like it's a little 4-minute video, and I listen to it so often that it just gets me to stop procrastinating. I actually take action straight after. I'm like, man, I want his life. I want a life like that. I want a life like Andy Frisilla. I've got to do what they're doing. 75 hard, doing work, showing up. And that's the part that I think that the glamour, you know, the bull crap you see on social media, like this one button press, like one like automated system, like just sign up and do my $3,000 program. You're going to be like running Lambos and private jets. Like, mate, like one day the market's going to wake up and those people are going to be broke. But, you know, the part that most people don't want to hear is you got to get out of your comfort zone. You've got to do the work. You know, it's the monotonous stuff. Like, that's something I want to ask you. Like, you guys are on social media. You're out having fun. You're out jet skiing. You know, you've got these great offices. But, like, you're telling me it's a big change from the 3 or 4 previous years where you're in this like little sweatshop thing, like what was it, a factory?
It was a warehouse. Yeah, so there was a little mezzanine above the warehouse. So you can imagine what that was like. And it was in a unit complex. So, you know, we had panel beaters there, and there was dust, and it was just dirty. It was an industrial area, so it was terrible, absolutely terrible. Yeah.
So people don't. People just see you guys now on a jet ski, or you know, in a nice car, or being able to fly business class around the world, but they don't probably get the fact that it's not just start a business, #profit, #Lamborghini.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, definitely not. And I suppose we're pretty lucky, not lucky, but I suppose we did the right thing in the first 12 months. So we had large success, but all that money was just put back into marketing. Yeah. So we really sacrificed a lot in our wage and in our, you know, our drawings from the business in the first 12 months, just so we could attain as many customers as possible. And that's what we're doing. Everything we made, we put back into marketing and marketing strategies and sales strategies, so we could acquire as much as we could in a short period of time. Once we had that customer data, we then used that to obviously keep coming in and keep growing it again. So
it's going to starve and one day it's going to go away. It's like if you keep being rude to the rich guy who's paying for dinner, one day you're going to show up on a Friday night and he's not going to be there, and then you got to pay for dinner.
100%.
So I just think that another thing that I wasn't using specifically this, but I do now. Like every bit of revenue that comes in my life, I split into a 40-40-20. So at least, so I put 40% towards investing in the future, and I'm never allowed to touch it, no matter how bad things get. That's it.
It's there to invest.
And then 40% goes into my business and expenses and everything like that, and I live off the 20%. And you know, hopefully one day I'm going to be blowing up my business so much that that 20 becomes too insane to be spending. And that's how you build it. It's simple. It's not rocket science.
That's a perfect formula for anyone that hasn't got a financial formula. Write that down, because you need one. If you don't have a financial formula, you're going to be stuffed. So
So what do you use something like that?
It's very similar. Yeah.
Probably learn off the same guy.
Yeah.
As Grant. So, mate, you know, podcasts, books. Apart from this podcast, which is like going to be like is heading to be number one in Australia and
America.
You know, America, the world. iTunes has taken over the world. Mate, what do you listen to? Like, what inspires you?
I go through different phases of my life, so I do get asked that question a lot. But I sort of I try and be really self-aware and find out, hey, you know, where am I falling short at the moment in life, and where am I, doing really well? You know, who's going to serve me? Because the thing you need to know about speakers and personal development is everyone's a little bit different, and everyone has a different approach. But a lot of these different approaches can serve you the best at different times. So you need to really look at yourself and go, you know, where am I struggling in life? For anyone who hasn't done this, do a life wheel. So Tony Robbins does this thing called a life wheel. That's actually a really good thing to, you know, look inside yourself and go, where in my area of, you know, my wheel in my life, where is it not where it needs to be? And what do I need to work on? So
how would they do that? So they just draw a circle and then like make it into a pie, don't they?
So we'll go, easiest thing is just go to Google and type in Tony Robbins life wheel. And do it. It's a really good exercise. I only did this for the first time, 2 years ago, but I thought it was a bit wanky at the start, to be honest, when I first did it, but it really does serve me now to really be honest with myself and go, where am I at from 1 to 10 in this area of my life? And then when you look at all the areas of your life and go, you know what, this is falling short, I need to work on this area. And then I can kind of find what information I need to improve that, and then develop a work habit around that to bring that up. So in terms of books and who I listen to and, courses that I do and podcasts, it really does depend, on what I need at the time. So at the moment, I just started studying NLP. I think it's going to serve me really well because I want to get into more public speaking, do more events. So the thing I need to work on is obviously my stage presence, my enthusiasm, and I need to find out where I need to be for that and where I'm comfortable, or uncomfortable, I should say. So one thing I'm studying at the moment is NLP. So everything I'm doing at the moment is all NLP related. So reading an NLP book at the moment, got the audio books going, everything is that. So not really listening to any podcasts at the moment. The only one I would listen to occasionally is Andy Frisella's because he's a badass. But it will change. But the only other bit of information I'll give you there too is don't listen to too many at once. If you have a Grant Cardone podcast going on, then you got a Tony Robbins book that you're reading, and then you got Gary V, DVD that you're watching, you're going to get really conflicting information going on at once, and your brain's just going to get confused. I really think you should pick one, maximum two, and they should be pretty well aligned with their what information they're sharing, and stick to that. Because sometimes you can get too much conflicting information, and then you get confused. Yeah, Gary Vee tells you to add value before you take money. Don't take any money for the first year, 2 years. Live poor, add value, add lots of value. You got to listen to Grant Cardone. He says, get the money as quick as possible. Idea, execution, sales, money. It's two totally conflicting ideas and principles.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and that can actually get you into paralysis. Like I actually, and you can hear like Russell Brunson say one thing about funnels, and you can hear Andy Frisella, who just has his own vision about what they are and how they're used and what a real business is and all that sort of stuff. And that can actually make you, like if you're creating a funnel and you hear Andy Frisella, not bag them out, but say, hey, that's not a real business. That's just a sales thing. The business is behind it. And you start thinking, well, I want a real business. and now all this work I've done, and that stops you from actually doing it. Well, that's disempowering. You just got to, my thing is listen to it all, and I highly recommend one at a time. Like I'm saying, like what you said, it's like I used to listen to so many things and I was conflicted.
Yep.
And now I listen to Ed Milet and Annie Priscilla, and if it's not those two, it's not going in my ears.
Yep.
And not going in my mind. I'm just direct on that. But take that information and take it into your common sense corner and work it out for yourself.
Yep.
They're not right.
Mm-hmm.
They're not right for you. They're saying from a general high chunking position, and it's not right for everyone. And the day that you can accept that, you can do what's right for you.
Yep. Is
the day you become successful because you stop giving a shit what people think.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so crazy for a while that I was worried that what people like Gary Vee would think of what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's never going to meet me. He doesn't give a shit, and I don't care now. Like I literally don't give a crap. But there was like 12 months ago, I was like, and I was bouncing between all these reasons why not to do something because I was worried about, and all I looked at is like, there's people successful doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. So
I don't give a crap.
That's right.
So I'm just going to do it.
Yep.
Now, and it's really freeing, and I think a lot of the listeners should get out of analysis paralysis and just do the work.
Definitely. Yeah. You got to get your mind trained to act instead of analyze. That's really, really important because a lot of people do that in everything. If you get paralysis by analysis in business, you'll never take action. So act first, analyze later is the steps it needs to be. That can get you into trouble, of course, and in business and in other areas of your life. But it's better to be in that position and analyze later and learn your lessons later, and to act now just to get into that habit. It really is, because so many people. I coach people that have been sitting on an idea, one simple thing for 6 months. They can't even choose a marketing agency. They sit there for 6 months and they think, what will happen if it doesn't work? And, I've got 3 different offers here. I don't know what to choose. Should I just do it myself? And they're trying to decide for 6 months what to do.
Yeah.
And they could have already fucked up, and then 6 months later, been in the position to at least have some analysis to do, have some data there to make another decision if they just took action 6 months ago. So,
yeah. And in the meantime, Facebook ads have gone through the roof, and you just, the money you think you're going to save and all that worry, you've just blown. And
your competition's just made $100,000 of sales and taken half your customers.
People don't get the opportunity cost too. Yep. Waiting is opportunity cost. Like Shane could be doing something else right now. There's an opportunity cost for everything. He could be now working in his business. He could be being with his family. He could be doing, there's always other opportunities.
It's a beautiful day to jet ski.
Yeah, it is. And I'll wreck that for him. So, I will not.
I'd rather be here with you guys.
That's amazing. Yeah. So you just don't just start moving. And my thought is, if you're moving so fast, by the time you realize you made a mistake, you're already around a couple of bends up the road. You're so far down the road. Mm-hmm. The cost of that mistake hopefully hasn't derailed you. Mm-hmm. And if it has, well, then guess what? You failed, and
that's right.
Go back to the start of the podcast and listen to the part where you just get back up. So, mate, what's your greatest achievement so far? What do you think your greatest achievement?
Greatest achievement? That's a good question. Well, definitely the business growth. We've got a really good story what we did in 12 months. That's obviously in terms of financial achievement. That's up there. I think that's the only I can. I think that's the only way I can really give you. Yeah, I suppose just the mindset space in that time as well, and the things I overcame to do that, and the position I was in to do that is pretty crazy. So, in terms of looking back, my greatest achievement, how I've felt, and how I've been as a person, and the mindset I've been in, that's definitely the best 12 months of my life.
So, what are for someone who's out there, they could be in a business, they could be thinking about starting a business, or they want this, they're looking for even more growth. What's the universal 3 steps you'd get them to take? What are the 3 things that they need to keep their mind on to just have a holistic success? It doesn't even have to be in business, just overall. What would you tell them to do? What would they keep their eye on?
Simplify everything. one of the biggest things I identify when people come to me is overwhelm. It always comes down to one thing. It's overwhelm. They have too much information coming in, too many things to do, too many things on their to-do list, and it goes into overwhelm. And they just overcomplicate everything, and they try and do too much at once. So everything I do, whatever phase I'm in business, in life, I try and simplify it down to a really simple process and chunk the information. Yeah. Tony Robbins talks about this a lot. If you've ever done Business Mastery with Tony Robbins or watched his videos on Business Masteries, he doesn't have 1,000 things to do in his to-do list. He attaches them together. So he might have, 6 things in customer service, but he just puts it into, okay, we need to work on customer service. That's one thing. So chunk the information and simplify it and create a formula. So, business growth for me is a simple 3-step process. That's all it is. And that's, we need customers. We need more of them if we're trying to grow our business. We need to sell more of our customers. So we need to increase our conversion rate or our sales percentage. And then we need to retain and maintain our customers or increase their average order value. It's quite simple. It's a 3-step process. Business growth is no more complicated than that. More customers, more sales from those customers or from the leads that we get and the attention that we get, and then get them to buy more often, spend more frequently.
Yeah, if you can increase those 3 columns by 10%, it actually comes out at 33.1% growth. It's not a flat 30%. It's it accumulates. It's cumulative, and if you can drop it down to 25% each, you're getting into the hundreds of percent.
That's right.
It's not just 75%. It's hundreds of percent, and
it's compounding.
It's just phenomenal. And a lot of people think, I can't get those big things. Well, you've only got to move the lever a little bit on each one to have incremental growth. And then what does that look like over 12 months, 5 years, 10 years? It can be massive. Yeah. So
So I find a lot of people that struggle to put their head around those formulas and those things and those concepts, they're still trying to figure out in their head how to do a Facebook ad by themselves. So they're really specific, and you need to get more what's abstract with your thinking with business. So what am I really trying to achieve here? What is the whole point of what I'm trying to do, and what state am I in my business, and what am I trying to do? So I need more customers. This is an example of getting more customers. So that's what I need to work on right now. And you simplify what you're trying to do, and then you take better actions. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Crystal clear. We're working with one of Russell Brunson's, for those who don't know who he is, he's the founder of ClickFunnels, and we're actually working with one of them, the coaches now. And he says he just writes down everything, everything he needs to do in his business, everything. He fills up 5 whiteboards. He's crazy.
I'd imagine
super high level, energetic guy. And he says what he does is he's got 3 textures. He's got a green, a blue, and a whatever the other color is. It doesn't matter, orange. Yeah. He says he puts a green dot next to the ones that make him the most money. Yep. And then he puts he goes down, and then he puts a red dot next to the ones that are good but don't make him a heap of money right now. And then he goes down and he puts the dot next to the ones that are just work that isn't that important, doesn't actually make him money, but needs to be done. Yep. He delegates all those. He gets someone else to, or he doesn't do them at all. Yep. Doesn't do them at all. He just goes, I'm not doing it. Yep. It's not making me money now, so I'm not doing it. Then he delegates the stuff in the middle, and then he makes sure 100% that he gets the green dots that are making him money now, done. He says, because that's all that really matters. He goes, you're in a business to make money. So if you're not doing things that make money right now, then what are you doing it for? Yep. And that's another amazing leader that I work with. That's what she said. She goes, Joel, is this making you money right now? And I'm like, no. And she's like, then why are you doing it? Yep. What are you doing this for? If you just want to help people, go work for a charity. Yep. Because you're here to make money. Yes, you help people. That's the byproduct. Yep. The reason why you're in business is to make money. Yep. And I think that's where a lot of the listeners maybe, or, we all know someone out there that just thinks that they want to save the world with their business, and that's why they're in business. Yep. Even charities are in business to make money.
Yep. Well, charities, the better charities have a lot more money to change the world. You can't change the world with no money. Charities can't change the world with no money.
Money is currently what makes the world go around.
Yep.
Business, unless, I don't know, there's some sort of utopian future for us, I don't see that changing, whether we're trading Bitcoin in the future or some other version of that, or
Doesn't
money
matter.
or
Yep.
salt or, herbs and spices. It's all some form of currency, and you need to make it.
That's right.
And that's the only purpose you're in business. So if you're doing it for any other reason, then maybe it's time to get out of the game.
Yeah. And that's a really good point. And that comes back to simplifying again. So what you were saying about Russell Brunson, just simplifying what you're doing. And that helps, if you want to improve in life or in general, ask yourself better questions. So when you're going into doing a big project, just a simple question to yourself that's powerful can make a big difference in the outcome of that project. So for example, if you're building a website, people think, okay, I need to change, or I need to build a website, or I need to change my website and build a new one so I sell more customers and I improve it. But if you go into that project saying, I'm just going to build a new website with just that in mind, you might get too held up in the design of it, the functionality. If you go into it and go, what is the purpose of me doing this? What is the real purpose, and what do I need out of doing this project, for me to even do it? And the point would be to sell more stuff to people. Yep. So then, okay, I need to work on conversion. This website needs to be a conversion website. So it needs to be a higher converting website. So when you're going to agencies or when you're working with developers, you're always talking to them about what? Sales and conversion. Okay, not design, aesthetics, and looking pretty, because that's, it's cool to have a good looking website, but if it doesn't sell the most, then who gives a shit? So asking yourself better questions when you're going into projects and simplifying these things will give you better outcomes.
Yeah, being outcome driven. That's like,
what is the purpose of this?
Yeah, what is my outcome here?
Yep.
Like that's a big thing. I used to go to a lot of conferences.
Yep.
I still intend to, though. Now I go, what is my outcome for this?
Mm-hmm.
So like, it actually sharpens you. So while you're there, if you know what your outcome is,
yep,
you're actually looking for people that can help you get your outcome.
Yep.
You're not just there just being completely reactive. So
yep,
it's being outcome driven is massive. So, and
that served me so many times, because sometimes it's just like unconscious for me. I'm just like, we need a new pop-up, and then I'm like, why? What's the outcome of having that? And then I'm, sometimes I get to, actually, we don't fucking need that, so it's pointless working on that. Next thing. So it served me so many times to ditch projects sometimes as well. It's not even worth doing because it's just not serving our higher purpose of what we're trying to do.
So Shane, like you say you're taking clients on, you're running a multi-million-dollar business, and you're doing the 75 hard, you're doing all this stuff. So how do people find you? Like, what do they just follow you on Facebook?
Social media. So I'm going to start doing a lot more events, hopefully locally and around Australia. So I really want to start doing more public speaking events. I've been asked to do a lot, but I've sort of knocked them back previously. Don't tell me why, I just have. But this year, big focus of mine, I write it in every day, is to get out there more and do more public speaking events. So keep an eye out locally, wherever you are. Hopefully I have some business talks coming up on that. But your social media is the best place for me at the moment. Instagram, Facebook.
And you got a website?
Yes. Yeah, of myself. Yeah. So I've got a website company, and then I've got one for myself as well. It's not polished, it's not done well, but I launch before I perfect. So don't criticize me on that. So
I'm
ShaneThomas.com.au.
I'm reading High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard again, and he actually says that in there. Like, perfection isn't waiting to be perfect to launch; it's to launch it and perfect it after it's out there.
That's right. Yeah.
It's a big thing, and that's what high performers do. So,
and who do you think is the best person to perfect your projects? Yourself or your customers? Your customers.
We need to drop a bomb there. That was we need to drop the bomb. That one was gold. We'll cut that one out and just put it out there. Mate, look, I've asked you this question before. Maybe there's a different answer. Like, if you had a billboard and the entire world could see it, what would you want to say?
You should buy my shit.
Well, that's awesome. That was very insightful. That was different
last time.
That is different. So, if you were wearing the insightful hat, what would you put up there? What would you want to tell?
I want to pick a powerful one this time. So give me some time.
You're gonna have dead air on the podcast. That's all right.
It's a hard one, isn't it?
It's a hard one, yeah.
It really gets you thinking. Perfection doesn't exist, so don't wait for it.
Wow, that was awesome. So, guys, if this has been amazing, which, well, we don't know if this has been amazing. Congratulations for making it to the end. Guys, pay the fee, share this out, get Shane's name out there. He's going to be all around Australia. Get the podcast out. People need to hear this. People need to realise that they can take control of their life. They can be the boss of their own life. They don't need to wait for someone else to come say there's no lotto drop coming.
If it's to be, it's up to me.
It's up to me. That's right. So get off your ass, get out there and make a life that, is an example, not a warning.
Yep.
So, guys, before I go, last thing, Christine will be back next week. It's not just going to be Shane and I or just me. Christine's out working, like probably we should be. But anyway, she will be back. So look forward to seeing her in the next episode. All right.
Thanks, guys.
Damn. Yeah.